One of the best parts of the My Hero Academia anime is its insistence that behind the awesome veneer of superheroes is a commitment to rigorous self-improvement. My Hero Once Justice 2 takes some inspiration from that mantra, honing the foundation built by its 2018 predecessor in subtle but meaningful ways and making fights even more fun to watch. But it still can't crack the shallowness and imprecision that limited the first game, making for a fighter that, while more robust, isn't going to convince any naysayers of its greatness. One's Justice 2's fights are based on a rock-paper-scissors triangle of normal attacks, counterattacks, and unblockable attacks. Fights can rely on this triangle a little too much though, and become a matter of guessing which of those 3 attack types your opponent will fire off next. Predicting that my opponent is going to throw out a counter and stuffing it with an unblockable did make me feel smart a fair number of times, but after a few matches it got a little stale. You can certainly put together your own flashy combos to make things look more technical, and that's fun to do. It's also easy to at least make each fight look bombastic. Even auto combos look cool, and some of the new Team Plus Ultra moves are highlights. The over-the-shoulder perspective, however, can make it hard to keep up with the action. Moves and projectiles might be obscured by obstacles and camera pans, especially as the action moves to corners and up the side of buildings. That, and some imprecise movement, make judging the radius and range of attacks more difficult than it should be. I've had some tense fights and close encounters online, but many others were clumsy, so I wasn't all that invested in them. Once Justice 2 does make some notable improvements to combat over the first game though. For one thing, the giant roster is nearly twice what it was in the original, with 18 new characters, most of whom are welcome additions that add a few wrinkles to fights. It's cool to see Mirio Togeda phase through the floor and come back up to deliver an uppercut, and I'm still trying to wrap my head around Mr. Compress's host of long-range moves and setup maneuvers that make him tricky to play as and against. Another good tweak is that you can now use your assist character's super abilities instead of your main characters in combat, which is a nice touch. The rest of the combat changes, like dodges and a new stamina system, are more quality of life stuff than anything groundbreaking, but they do make combat a bit more strategic. Once Justice 2 also has an extended single player mode, but it's not all that great. It covers the end of Season 2 and most of Season 3 of the anime, but the season's best moments aren't delivered with the vigor they deserve, since you're mostly stuck with stills of the characters. Playing out iconic fights doesn't make them more compelling either. I was able to get by most fights just by spamming attacks or special moves, save for a handful of fights near the end. There's also a new arcade mode that's a decent way to practice up against CPUs, as well as an expanded mission mode. That one has you recruiting heroes and fighting through gauntlets on simple maps, but it's a bit of a drag. It starts strong, but its 36 gauntlets are too long-winded and repetitive to be fun for long. That's especially true as the missions get harder, since if you lose even one fight out of several, you'll have to start that entire mission over again. Online, most of my matches had decent connections, though I did see my share of stuttering. I'm more disappointed by the lack of some standard features. Neither ranked or unranked matches have a good rematch option, so you can't play longer sets against someone who puts up a good fight. You can message them and invite them to a lobby for a rematch, but these rooms are limited to 2 people, which is a bummer. An icon in the online menu also promises themed online events, but it's not active yet, so I can't say for sure if they'll build on the events in Once Justice. Like its predecessor, Once Justice 2 is good for a few matches with friends. You get to play around with the amazing expanded cast of characters from the anime and fire off some of their amazing moves. Its minor improvements make combat more fun, and the expanded roster offers a ton of new options too. But if you want to delve deeper than that, whether it's sussing out the intricacies of combat, finding a satisfying solo experience, or getting in some good matches online, the second run at a My Hero Academia game just doesn't put in the work it needs to be great.
For more on My Hero Once Justice 2, check out the first 14 minutes of gameplay, and our review for the original Once Justice. And for everything else, stick with IGN.